Okay, you all come in. Let's let's get this live stream going. All right, let's get this live stream going. And I will go live probably in about 2 hours and discuss cryptocurrency as well. I want to give y'all some updates on Ethereum, Dogecoin, big updates. I really could do it now, but I want to make sure that I stay focused on the topic. So you all come in and hit that like button for me, right? Hit like and hit share. All right, you all hit that like button for me, hit like and hit share. Let's invite more people in. Hello, Lee, aka Les Brown. Hello to you. Hello, Lori. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, Lori. Thank you for tuning in. You all again hit that like button for me. Lori is in. Hello, Deborah. Deborah, glad to have you in. And again, you all hit that thumbs up. Let's use your superpowers, right? Speaking of superpowers, I want to show you all this video. Hello, Tidra. Hello to you. I would hope no one sold Bitcoin at the top. Q, Rico. Okay, so that's my signal to get started, right? I will hope no one sold Bitcoin at the top. But again, you all hit the thumbs up, right? Let's share the message. I do have great information. If you all want to combine this into one lengthy video, we can. But I want to get started with the topic. But I will do a live stream in about 2 hours on cryptocurrency. I will discuss why Cardano, ADA, and Doge is overtaking Bitcoin. Some Argentina lawmakers that introduced a bill today for their workers to be paid in crypto. Some news on Shiba Inu surpasses 1 billion, right, after launching on eToro. Boston Celtics basketball team joins the fans, and Chili's is with Boston Celtics and Socios, making an agreement with Boston Celtics and the NBA team. So, and Ethereum, Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. Now, this will happen percentage wise, right? This will happen percentage wise, but not in power wise. And Q says, why not sell Bitcoin at the top? This is why not, right? Because when you sell your cryptocurrency, you're only converting it back to cash or digitalized money, which is a depreciating asset. Cash is the lowest yielding asset that there is, right? So if you're flipping crypto back into cash, you're losing an asset. You're losing an asset, which is cryptocurrency, because this is what cash will be converted over to. So now you have an asset that's just sitting in your bank that's no longer working for you, because you know you get no interest on your money just sitting in the banks. So that money is no longer working for you. And unless you're flipping that money back into an asset, right, like real estate, like more crypto or gold and silver, then the only thing you did was convert an asset that you got in at the foundational level for currency or cash that's being devaluated, just like Venezuela dollars. So if you're trading a Forex and you're getting gains, the only time that that's good is when you're converting those gains into another asset, because again, cash is the lowest yielding asset that there is. And what are you buying anyway? Houses are overpriced at 20% right now. What you gonna do with that cash? Go out and buy a personal home? Vehicles are overpriced. New and used vehicles are overpriced right now. And if it's just sitting in the bank, you're not getting any interest on it. So what sense does that make? Not very much so. Unless you need that cash for essential items and essential bills. Maybe you're behind on your mortgage, then it makes sense, right? Um, maybe you are behind or you can't afford your groceries, then it makes sense. But the only time it makes sense to give up an asset like cryptocurrency is when you have essential bills you need to pay. So Bitcoin is not overpriced. Bitcoin is going to reach 100K before the end of the year. So that's the point. That's the point. It's no LOL. That's real talk. Nothing to laugh about. Bitcoin hasn't even started. You haven't even seen what Bitcoin is going to do by the end of the year. Right? Right? So that's why you don't want to give up an asset. And if you don't have a financial education, then you don't understand that, or financial intelligence, right? Understand what asset and the liabilities are. And right now, cash is the lowest yielding asset that there is. And you can't say, well, I'm investing in real estate with my cash. I'm taking out my gains, because real estate market hasn't crashed yet. And it's still overpriced. So you're not even finding deals on rentals and real estate. So let's get into the topic, right? Not Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. No, Bitcoin is going to be 100K by the end of the year. So the question is, what will cash be by the end of the year? It's going to go back to its original state of zero. Don't get it twisted. Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin percentage-wise, but not power-wise, right? Right? So good evening to you, Gwen. And my topic was, I know I'm the queen of crypto and people want to talk about crypto, but I want to share you all this financial education that I learned from Little Richard, right? My mother and I spent some time together, and I was showing her this audio clip of Little Richard, and had a lot of lessons of how he went to making $10,000 an hour. And this was in the 70s, right? The 70s, the 60s, $10,000 an hour. So you can imagine what that would be like today. So let's listen and learn and really, really break down this video. Again, I will discuss cryptocurrency probably about 8 o'clock Central Standard Time tonight. So tune back in for that. But let's tune in and chime in on this video, right? On this video.
Thank you very much for being here. In the very beginning of the show, I made a statement which I think is a pretty fair one. Let me know what you think of it. If you hadn't come along, or maybe rock and roll would have started differently or later. I'm sure it would have started sooner or later.
I don't believe it would have got started at all. In my hometown, Macon, Georgia, where I'm from, I've never heard any rock and roll music before. It was Swing and Sway with Sammy Kaye when I was a little boy.
Yeah. How old were you when you were listening to Sammy Kaye?
I really didn't listen to him. But I had gotten tired of hearing about him. And so what I did, I started playing the piano, and I made up Tutti Frutti.
Mm-hmm.
And I sung Tutti Frutti for many years before I recorded it, because everybody thought it was crazy. You know, wah, ba, ba, loom, ba, ba, la, bam, boom.
Yeah.
Didn't nobody know what it meant, and I didn't either.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first thing I want to bring out, right? That's the first thing I want to bring out in this interview is that, and I need you all to take notes, make a mind message connection. Words create wealth, right? Words create wealth. But more importantly, the words that come out of your mouth, right? I was going back and forth with someone on my YouTube channel. I guess they got maybe offended when I don't think I was even making the post in reference to this person, because this was an actual text message that I got to my phone. And this person referenced to a message that they put in my Cash App. But I do want that person to know, whether if they watch the video or not, that I do get more messages than just from them throughout the day and throughout the week, throughout the hour, right? Whether it be text messages, emails, Cash App messages, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, right? You're not the only one. And so I was making a reference that a person says, I am what God says I am. Let me tell you, what God says you are is not verbal, it is written, right? And when you verbalize it and send it out into the atmosphere, it creates vibrations. See, these are things you need to understand, overstand in order to become wealthy, is that the combination of vibrations, frequency, and energy must be used. Because once you understand your DNA, right? I saw something on Instagram today that talked about the veins in our body is structured much like lightning that comes from, the universe, lightning, and how our body makeup is just that of the universe. Yes, words create wealth, right? He said he didn't even know what it meant, and neither did the people. Whatever the wop, babaloo, I can't even say it in its entirety. So there's going to be times, because this is a teaching video. Again, I'm doing cryptocurrency, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. You want to get the, the input on cryptocurrency, Dogecoin, Shiba, Ethereum, and Bitcoin in particular, Chili's and Boston Celtics making a partnership today. And then the percentage-wise performance of Ethereum, but the power, right, of Bitcoin. Then join me at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock EST time. But right now, this is a mindset video. This is a money mindset video. Just like I had the person, Q Rico, that was wondering, did anybody make gains from trading their Bitcoin back into cash? You're trading an asset that has so much uptrend for a lower performing asset, which is cash. That's not financial intelligence, people. That's not financial intelligence. Unless you need the money because you are in a situation where you have bills that must be paid, or food, right, that you must go make groceries with, or some type of essential situation that you have to pull your gains out. But just having your cash sitting in the bank is not financial intelligence. That's gaining no interest, and by the day is depreciating in what it can purchase. Because I read an article today, for example, that's discussing how gas prices are expected to rise another 30 cents before this summer ends, before the end of the summer. 30 cents. So let's get back into this video.
Tutti Frutti.
Mhm.
And I sung Tutti Frutti for many years before I recorded it,
Yeah.
because everybody thought it was crazy. You know, wop, bop, balloon, bop, a lot, bam, boom.
Yeah.
Didn't nobody know what it meant, and I didn't either.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I should put that on record.
Yeah. You were in 1957. How long had you been performing as Little Richard at that point?
I had been performing as Little Richard from a little boy.
Yeah.
From a little boy, I was singing around Macon, Georgia, beating on the doorsteps. I would go around from house to house and beat on the steps, and people would give me a quarter,
Right.
a dime, 50 cents.
But by 1957, you were an established rock and roll entity.
Yes.
And you were touring in Australia?
All over the world.
And what happened in Australia? You just decided, that's it, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Well, what happened when I was in Australia, then during that period, I stopped and went to school. You know, I've never made this type of money, David. You know, I was making $15 a week in Macon, and all of a sudden I'm making $10,000 an hour. So I went back to school to learn how to count, to read, because I didn't know how. I need.
Now the audience was laughing when he said he went back to school to learn how to count to read, but he didn't know how. And he did not have the business skills, right? He talks about this. He did not have the education. And in his time and era, teaching reading and writing to blacks was very limited, right? But this is the thing. This is the thing too. And I only see one person, and maybe the rest of you all are driving, but this is another thing that you have to get to have a money mindset. People, you have to begin to see words and type them, right, along with the message. Either you need to pen to paper, is one of the secrets that millionaires do. They subscribe, they write, or you need to start typing. Because as soon as this video is over with, if you don't write and type, whether you're watching live or in the replay, then your mind will not retain it. Words create wealth, right? Words create wealth. And on another topic, let me give you another reason why people are not wealthy or rich, or they live paycheck to paycheck. Because of things like this. He's looking at in this video how young David Letterman is, not getting the message of the video. This man, Little Richard, on this interview just said he made $10,000 an hour back in the 60s and 70s. $10,000 an hour, and the only thing JC is a young Dave Letterman. Right? People can see and hear the same thing and get a different message out of it, a different mindset out of it. So the other second thing that he shared was that people used to give him a quarter or a dime to beat on their doorsteps. See, when you are destined to be a rich and wealthy person, and I'm not talking about spiritual, I'm talking about physical money, not living paycheck to paycheck, right? Not struggling, not barely getting by. I saw this meme on Instagram that said when you see a black person, or when you hear a black person opening up bills and you hear the crumbling, and the next thing you hear is, if it ain't one thing, it's another, they'll let you know they have a bill in their hand that they probably can't pay. Right? Now sometimes we get our smartphones email notification that a bill is due. Right? And when you know you're on the path to greatness, no matter how small the quantity is, no matter how many people believe in you, no matter how much people feel like they should compensate you, give to you, or whether they don't give. Listen, I have people that give super chats when I live stream, and I have people that don't. It does not stop me from live streaming, because I know my gifts. And I also know I don't have to live stream, because I'm one of the few, or the only black woman that I know that comes on YouTube to encourage the black community, or women in particular, to invest in cryptocurrency. I'm the only black woman that I know. That there's some other black men that do that, but I'm the only black woman that does it consistently, right? Number two, whether you give a $3.33 super chat or whatever, and on point, thank you, Gwen, for the 1111 super chat. I know the knowledge, information, and education, and the manifestation that you all are getting, right? My gift is worth more than that, but I'm fine with that. You are given into the revelation, right? The revelation that you understand that God speaks in numbers, right? If you don't understand that, go back and read Genesis. Start with the first book of the Bible. I noticed today in Genesis chapter 7, for example, just Genesis chapter 7, that when he was informing Noah about the flood, right, that he was speaking in terms of 7. God speaks in numbers. Numbers is a universal number. So that's number 2. He knew where his gift was going, and the quarters and the dimes did not deter him, right? And so the audience laughed when he said he went back to school because he saw that he was making money and that he was getting cheated out of his money. But this is the thing. How many of you all have increased financially from investing, whether it's the cryptocurrency that I've come on my live stream and educate you all about, and then we'll then go and invest in a financial education to keep what you're making. This man was making $10,000 an hour. He could have said, I don't need to invest in financial education. What's the point? Right? Tidrin says, Ocean View, small circle is a chosen. I wrote it down, then followed through. That's great. That's what everyone should do. But we are so conditioned to be entertained and not educated. People just want to watch stuff for the entertainment. Now, they don't want to write. They don't want to subscribe. They don't want to type. They don't want to retain. Right? They just want to watch things to be entertained. So a man, $10,000 an hour, saw a need to be educated when it came to money and finances and business, or what he was doing. Right? And like many people, the crowd thought that was funny. It was amazing to me how much of gems was dropped in this video, and the crowd just laughed at it. But let's continue to play it, right?
Period. I stopped and went to school. You know, I'd never made this type of money, David. You know, I was making $15 a week in Macon, and all of a sudden I'm making $10,000 an hour. So I went back to school to learn how to count, to read, because I didn't know how. I needed to know how to handle the money. I had a lot of managers that was handling it a whole lot, taking it all, leaving me nothing. I didn't know how to count the nothing that they left. So I went back to school to study.
So, but at that time, did you get into religion, or was it?
Yes, well, I've always been religiously inclined. You know, my mother in Macon, Georgia, my mother has 12 kids, and I would have to go to church in order to go to the movie. I would have to go to church Sunday morning, the Baptist church, and that evening I would go to the movie. But I've always loved God. You know, in my hometown, if you didn't love God, you didn't have nothing, because it was so prejudiced back in that time. You know, I had to do what I was doing in order to survive.
Yeah. What do you mean had to do what you were doing to survive?
Well, you know, when I was singing rock and roll, at that time they would call black music race music. When I sung rock and roll, I was on RCA Victor before Elvis Presley, but they wouldn't put me on RCA. They put me on Camden. So when I would wear makeup, they would let me sing for the white girls. When I put on eyelashes and all that, they would let me sing. But when I went as a straight dude, they wouldn't let me sing.
Now, why is that?
Well, they thought I wanted the girls. So if I came out a straight guy, they wouldn't let me sing. But when I came out with all the makeup on and all the eyelashes and all the hair, they said Richard was a good boy. I never was a good man, but I was a good boy.
Now, who is they that you're talking about here?
Some of the whites in Macon, who I'm from, I came from a little town. You know, it was real prejudice back in that time.
Now, this is, as I recall, my memory of you is you were a peculiar appearing performer. You were not the guy running the 7-Eleven. Well, maybe you were, but you looked strange, you know?
Well, it was strange because didn't nobody else have nerve enough to wear what I was wearing.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of people wanted to look like I looked, but they didn't know how to put it on.
Yeah,
I think that during that period that there was a lot of people that would love to have been flamboyant, you know, just like Kiss and Jimi Hendrix, which was my guitar player. He started out with me. Billy Preston, James Brown was my vocalist, Otis Redding, all the Beatles came with me. They started with me, Mick Jagger. All these people started with me.
So you, I mean, now taking another turn here, you really did have a dramatic impact and a great deal of influence on what would later become the mainstays of rock and roll music.
I was the architect of rock.
But my other question is, if you had these religious roots, wasn't it kind of a tearing circumstance for you to be appearing in eye makeup and so forth, and then also be a devout Baptist?
Well, I wasn't.
The Baptists in those days probably didn't want women wearing makeup.
Well, in those days, some of them didn't know what they was wearing themselves. What happened is, I wasn't really a religious person. I was a young boy. I wanted to be famous so bad, and I really wanted a Cadillac. Lloyd Price came to my hometown, and he had a Cadillac, and so I wanted to sing and get me a Cadillac. I wanted to be famous for one purpose, to get a Cadillac.
Just get the Cadillac.
The longest Cadillac in my hometown was owned by the funeral home, and you had to die to ride.
Yeah, that's no fun getting it that way.
And I was determined not to die.
All right, we're going to continue with a little.
So we're gonna stop right there. Yeah, dropping gems, right? Dropping a lot of gems. And this is the thing, right? My mentor just called me, and he asked me to go to Genesis 1:1 in my Bible, right? Genesis 1:1. And he told me, he said, well, look at verse 3. He said, and God said, right? I said, okay. And then he said, now go to Genesis 1:3, God said. In Genesis 4, God saw. He saw, he said, he saw. And then Genesis 1:5, the very next verse, God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. God said, God saw, God called. Thank you, Jamil, for the $9.99 super chat. Baby Al Turner had to give Little Richard money to keep him from losing his home, and so did Michael Jackson. Okay, what are you talking about? I'm talking about, maybe you didn't watch the beginning of how he was making $10,000 an hour in the 60s and the 70s, right? So whatever he did that may not result in financial intelligence, latter in his career, I'm talking about the beginning of his career and what it took for him to even get the house to that point and the luxury items that he had. Right? So this is what I'm talking about. And for our small-minded people that's coming in, I may block you because I just don't have time for this today. Right? I'm talking for people that's going to have that money mindset of what I'm talking about. Right? God said, God saw, and he called. Number one, Little Richard said, I'm going to be great. I want to be great. The thing that he saw that made him want to be great was a Cadillac. Now, a Cadillac may not mean much to you, but as he said, he went from making $15 a week. But before the $15 a week came, it was a quarter, a dime, to $10,000 an hour. So we're not talking about the end of Little Richard's career. We're talking about what got him to be the financial mastermind that he was, and the music genius that he was. He talked about Kiss. James Brown sung vocal for him. He was the architect. He gifted and he made other people great as well. He knew networking, or the people work for him understood networking. See, the quickest way to be rich and wealthy is to learn from somebody who's already, see, that's the only way you get rich quick, to learn from somebody who's already there. So he went from a quarter and a dime to $15 an hour to $10,000 an hour. The next thing I want you all to type in is levels. It is levels to this. He went from a dime to a quarter to $15 an hour to $10,000 an hour. It is levels to this. That's what I'm talking about. So God said, my question to you all, whether you watch it live and in the replay, what are you saying? You. See, what God said in Genesis is not going to help you out in 2021. Because everything that God said is now in written form. And if you don't say, you are not creating vibrations, frequency, and energy to change your situation. That's why voice tonality and music have pitches and hertz. And when you send those vibrations out, you get in alignment with the universe to bring those things into existence. So God said, what are you saying? God saw. Little Richard saw in his imagination a Cadillac. He said the only Cadillac that he saw up to that point was when people died, and he didn't want to wait to die to be in the Cadillac. He saw something. He said he didn't even want to be famous. He just wanted a Cadillac. He had a vision for something that pushed him to want to be at a higher level financially. Believe it or not, we have some people that are comfortable being broke. I want to sip on that. Don't even ask me how they are. Don't even ask me why they would be. But some people are comfortable living paycheck to paycheck and being broke. Don't even tell me how that doesn't keep them up at night. Don't even try to explain to me why they say money doesn't make you happy, but you can be happy broke. I don't want to know. And it is something wrong with a person psychologically who think that someone that's homeless is happy. I've had people tell me, listen, I see a lot of homeless people happy. No, they're not. It was raining today. It was a homeless person under a bridge with an umbrella in the rain, getting rained on. And if you think that person is happy with that situation and they don't have a mental disorder, then it's something wrong with you mentally as well. If you don't think people are happy with waking up every day, scuffling for $1 or $2, not knowing where their next meal is coming from, being happy with bad hygiene. If you don't think that's a mental disorder, something is wrong. Right? And so God said, he saw. What are you imagining in your mind before it manifests physically? See, when you say I am money, when you say I am rich, when you say I am the lender, not the borrower, when you say I am happy, I am strong, I am an influencer, I am a business. I'm not a businesswoman. I'm not a businessman, as Jay-Z would say. I am a business. You might be asking me, well, Queen, how am I money? Because you have something inside of you that people will give to when you find your purpose. You am, see, and this is another thing. The reason why I pulled up that interview, because my daughter was watching something, and Little Richard was in it. And in the movie, right, they were singing the song, Precious Lord. Singing the song, Precious Lord. It was at a funeral, right? It was at a funeral. It was, I can't think of the, Frankie Lyman, I think, that was married to Halle Berry and Vivica Fox, the three women, right? Frankie, I forgot his last name. But anyway. And at his funeral, they were singing Precious Lord, Take My Hand. And see, this is how you can tell a religious person from someone that understands spirituality, or as my mentor would call it, kingdom. In that song, it says, I am tired. I am weak. Then, you get into a black church, they really got to say, I am worn. Oh, they just take that one to a whole nother level. I am worn. See, that's religion talk. That's chicken talk. That's not how eagles talk. That's chicken talks, right? No, it's Frankie, whatever. It wasn't Love Jones. The Frankie Lyman story or whatever, the little short singer or whatever. And they was trying to, he was married to all three women, and they was trying to decide which wife had a right to his estate, only to find out that he died broke and he didn't have an estate. But anyway, so when you sing Precious Lord, see, it's okay to say, I am weak, I am tired, I am worn. But when you start telling people, yes, thank you, Kenneth. Why do fools fall in love? That's it. And Lord, that's a whole nother live stream. I can do a live stream on just that topic right there. Why do fools fall in love? You know, the Bible says a fool and his money will soon depart. A fool and his money will soon depart. So the Bible says only fools don't have money. The Bible says fools don't have money. So why would fools fall in love? Why would two broke people? That's a whole nother topic. Thank you, Kenny. Why would two broke people get married? Oh my God. Listen, let me tell you something. When you write down the number one reason why you got married, and you ask what was the purpose of this marriage, and the first answer is love, and you can't list any other purpose because we are good business partners in this arena, in this area, and I think we can build a business together. We're on the same spiritual level, and I think when our frequencies come together and we make love, that we will have children on that same frequency level and vibration. Our union will cause that. The purpose of our marriage is because we have a vision to do that. See, if it just stops at love, wow, that's a real low level reason to get married. But anyway, it's low level. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's the lowest level that you can list, right? So, yes, chicken talk. I am weak, I am tired, I am worn. See, they love that. See, you can tell when you're talking with chickens or eagles. They love that. If I play Precious Lord, they can relate. But when I tell them to say, no, don't say I am weak, I am tired, I am worn. Say I am strong, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am healthy. I am attracting people on a high vibrational level. I am walking in purpose. I am a great speaker. I am a great wife. I am a great husband. I am a great father. I am a great mother. I am greatness. I am God. Please don't tell me to say that. I am powerful. Well, Queen, why you say I am God's? Because Psalms 82:6 says you are God's. John 10:34 says you are God's. Ephesians 3:20 says now unto him that is able to do exceedingly. See, this is why a lot of you are not getting exceedingly and abundantly in your life. This is why. Exceedingly and abundantly. This is why you are mediocre or average. Because when you finish that scripture, it says, according to the power that works in you, you have no power. And you have no power because you do not recognize the power within, and you are too lazy to tap into it. Another thing my mentor and I talked about, I was with my mother today, right? Was with my mother. We were shopping. I didn't let her pay for anything because I understand the power of giving, right? I understand the power of giving. My mother has a lot of money. She does. That's not the point. Matter of fact, you really want to give to people that have more than you because they're working on a higher level. As people say, you need to give to the poor. Reverend Ice said he does not give to the poor because their frequency level is too low. Unless he just feel like giving to the poor and understand he won't get anything in return. Now, some of you all say, oh, Queen, that is so mean. Why wouldn't you give? Let me tell you, I was working at a job, making $15 an hour, right? And this man was working at the job as well. And we were working the graveyard shift, the night shift. This is when I was young, right? 19 years old, working the night shift. This man would get off the night shift. We would get out work at 4:00 a.m. and would stand on the corner by a stop sign and dress up homeless and appear homeless and get donations. That totally changed my mindset about giving to people that's on the street corners with a sign that says they start making the signs that say we'll work for food because they don't want to work. And that's against biblical law. The Bible says a man that does not work should not eat. See, you've been lied to and told that this is humble. It represents humility and humbleness to give to the poor. That's not biblically aligned. Now, yes, God did tell the rich young ruler to sell all that you have, right, and give to the poor. But that was a test of heart for the rich young ruler. That wasn't a test for everybody. Could you give to who God tells you to give in material things to seek the higher calling? That's the test, right? Because the Bible also says the poor will be with you always because it's a mindset. And so I was with my mother. We were getting some things, and she got small things. I think she got a candle, like 2 or 3 small items, right? And we went out to eat, and I didn't allow her to pay for anything. And when we was at the second stop, the total came to exactly $111.22, right? And I got excited. You know how you be in the club sometimes and you tell your friend, girl, that's my song, that's my jam, right? I told the cashier, I said, those are my numbers. And she started laughing. My mom kind of looked at me. What do you mean by that? I said, when I see 111s or 4 1s, right? I know that my money is coming back multiplied, speedily and efficiently, in a never-ending cycle of increased enjoyment. Then my mother looked at me again. I said, because Deuteronomy 1:11 says, may the Lord your God bless you 1,000 times more. That's quadruple, 1s, right? And people don't have the mindset to be a millionaire. They don't. They do not have the mindset. And so my mentor and I also was discussing the man that buried his talent, which was money, right? It says that the master gave them talents according to their own ability. This man just had one talent, and he went and buried it in the dirt. Just one talent, right? So number one, it lets you know the master recognized this man's mindset. So he didn't give him any more than what his mindset could manage. See, God knows your mindset. He won't give you any more than what your mindset could handle, what your talent level. Some people quote all the time, my cup runneth over. What size cup are you thinking out of? Because until that cup's enlarged for you mentally, it won't ever run over. You always look at this as half empty, half full. Because this is the level of your thought process. When all of this brain power is available to fill in and run over, but it won't run over because you won't allow yourself to think on higher levels. And if you can't say it, you can't see it, you can't achieve it. So God said, he sent out the verbal vibrations. God saw it. Imagination, visualization is so. Some of you all are trying to be millionaires and you making millionaire professions. I am a millionaire. He said you just need to get 10,000 in your account first and do that 100 times. We can clap on that. Wasn't that good? See, when you don't be around millionaire people, you don't get that. And see, I give you all the spills for free. But when I go to these conferences, see, I have to pay and invest to get that mindset shift. He said, some of you all just need to be thousandaires. Get $10,000 in your account first and do that 100 times before you start trying to confess something when you haven't seen the lower levels develop yet. Remember earlier I said there's levels to this. Even God didn't step out on the first day and say, listen, I'm just going to call all this stuff out. Why should it take me 7 days? I'm God. I'm going to call all of it out and create it from the light, right, to the waters, to everything he created, to the moon. He said the sun. He could have just said, I'm God. I'm going to say day one, all this stuff happened. I'm going to see it. No, even God took levels. Took him 7 days. And so you have to see it and imagine what it would feel like to attain it. What would the feeling be like when you log into your account? You see $10,000 and then you see 20,000 and then you see 6 figures, 100K. What is that feeling like? See, I did this video and I upload on Facebook. This is what it feels like when you switch over from religion to spirituality. Let me share this. When you start speaking stuff for yourself and recognize that you are God, because how can you not be God when he said, I created you in my image and my likeness? He is in you. You got to know how to pull it out. So let me share this with you all. And then I'm logging out so we can discuss cryptocurrency. Right? In a couple of hours.
Oh, that was you. You doing it. The superpowers. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you. Whoa, this is so cool. That's cool. But you cut this off. That was you. You doing it. The superpowers. Yeah, you got it. I didn't know I had two powers. Yeah. Whoa, Abra, Kadabra. Whoa, Abra. Hey, show Mama this. Okay, I'll record it. Call Mama and say, look, Abra, Kadabra. Whoa, yes, it's the Abra, Kadabra.
Thank you, YouTube watcher, for the 1111 super chat. She said the crypto community has saved her life. But Queen, you have provided me with discernment as well as education. You are so right. And that's what people don't understand, right? Both are needed in this space. This is what people don't understand. There are so many people that will get crypto gains and you can lose them. Your health anything. But back to this faith as a child that the Bible speaks about. Now I know I'm going to have some small-minded person that says, well, you know they was using a remote control to cut the power off. That's not the point. Let's think bigger here. That young man, little boy, at his age, believes he has superpowers. And the whole thing, just like Little Richard said, I can't even say it, but wop, babaloo, wop, whip, bam, boom. And he said people thought it was crazy, and he didn't know what the words meant, and people didn't know what it meant. But you put some good music and rhythm and a great voice and a genius behind something, and words create wealth. See, that little boy knew, or he felt, or he learned the lesson that if I don't put words out in the atmosphere, my superpowers can't kick in. If a child can understand that, please tell me why I'm getting a text message from someone that's saying, I am what God says I am. If you are not going to repeat the words of God out of your own mouth, and back to the man that buried his talent in the dirt, and he was called wicked and evil. I want to know what God's going to call some of you all about your money management skills. If he called that man wicked and evil, because guess what? At least the man had what he gave him. He didn't lose. He didn't lose. Some of you all live paycheck to paycheck, and you're in the negative. Your checking account. At least he kept what was given. He didn't lose. He didn't go out and spend it on the big screen television or seafood or new clothes, expensive clothes. That's liabilities. At least he saved it. 1 out of 4 Americans before this health crisis started had $400 in a savings account. See, some of you all don't get to heaven and you say, I want to hear Jesus say, well done, my good. And he's going to say, look, he called this man wicked and evil. You're cast into outer darkness. Because he did not manage his money right. And the thing of this, what it boils down to, is just laziness. You want to look for something external to make up for your lack of wanting to take action on anything, even the power to open up your mouth and profess and proclaim the written word, right? To make it a verbal word with power in the universe and in the atmosphere. You are too lazy to do that. And this man was lazy. He was lazy. Some people are too late. You got to have faith like as a child. Even that child knew I got to put words out here for superpower to kick in. I got to say abracadabra. I got to put some vibrations out. And then, because when you give, you have to be in the process of having your return. Do not ever give and never expect a return, ever, because it's a universal law. He who gives will be given more. Who takes more will be taken away. Just point blank, right? So, with that being said, I got a spammer on Facebook. God called, right? He said, he saw, and he called. I don't know about you all, but my checking accounts have names. I called them something. One of my checking accounts, for example, is when Leroy Thompson started coming out, and he started saying, money coming. Right? See, I've been doing this way long before YouTube live stream, right? So Leroy Thompson started coming out and said, money coming, right? And I used to teach this, and I would tell people, I would have to say, you all pull the lever back. Leroy Thompson said, pull the lever, I guess, like when people would gamble, or the lever, I'm sorry. And he said, money coming to me now, and people would say that. And so I started naming my checking account, money coming, right? Every time I open up my checking account, I see money coming. It keeps it before me. My real estate investment, I call, and this is why. One of them the Phoenix, because these are all names that have to do with money. You can Google this. This is 50 baby names that means the same thing as money. So I said, okay, we got the Phoenix going on. We got the Phoenix Suns. You got the Phoenix in 1988 that's showing that cash is going back to its original state of zero. So what I want to call my assets, I said, okay, I'm going to call this one Phoenix, the Phoenix, right? It's a name with a rich history and a connection to money. It was the very first currency used in modern Greece, introduced in 1828, right? So my very first investing property, I said, okay, I'm calling the Phoenix. And then in 2018, you have the numbers 11, 8 plus 2 plus 1. And I see the triple four. 1,444 babies were named with Phoenix. When I saw this, I said, okay, that's the name. That's it. Anything that brings me cash flow has a name to it that's related to money. See, this is what you're doing. You're putting out bad vibes. You're saying, I'm broke. I'm saying, I am rich. You're saying, let me check my checking account. Girl, I hope it ain't in the negative. Man, I hope it ain't in the negative. How you doing today? You know, you ask people, how are you today? Oh, better than I, people tell you better than I deserve. Or they'll say, oh, I'm making it fairly well. They can't just say, I am great. People ask me, how are you doing today? I'm great. And you? I am great. Some people say, I'm blessed and highly favored. And they don't be, but they say it at least. I see some people broke, and you ask, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. And then we have to ask me to borrow money. I'm like, whoa. So this is why you can say, you can see, and you can call something a name. See, everything had to have a name when it came into creation. But some people don't ever get to the point of creation where they can call something. See, God didn't call things a name until he saw it in creation. He saw the manifestation, right? Then he gave it a name, preferably a name of prosperity. Because people never give. People, let me tell you something. You can go and buy Miracle-Gro soil. But if you never give that soil seed, you will never see growth in a harvest. You can have the best soil, the top notch. Miracle-Gro even has a name. They said it's a miracle, but we'll grow it. See, people, when you get to a certain point, you got to give your brand a name. What business? Like Gwen. Gwen just gave another. This is her second 1111, and her money is being circulated. It's going to return to her in increased enjoyment and in multiplication. But Gwen is a part of the home-based business, right? You all need to stop doing business and making money in your government name and start building some corporations and LLCs for your business name and build business bank accounts, because guess what? Now you won't be saying Chase or Wells Fargo. You're going to be saying, oh, let me go and check on Armstrong Enterprise. I'm just using Gwen last name, right? Let me go to Wells Fargo. I got my business checking account there. What? When you go to the teller, you say, Armstrong Enterprise, LLC. See, a lot of reasons you all don't have your checking account set up right. The only thing you say is you call it the bank's name. No, you need to give your checking account a name. I'm giving you all stuff that I really should charge people to learn. Because this stuff might seem small to you all, but this is the reason why a lot of people are broke. These are the biblical codes. You're trying to do business. Only thing you have is a job. Your paycheck is in your government name, and the government tax you higher than any other entity. That's why they call you human resources. Because you're a resource to the government. You're not a resource to yourself. You're not a resource to yourself. Some of you all need to develop business entities. If nothing more but to see a different name on your checking account. So that checking account can attract money and wealth and prosperity. Another thing, these cryptocurrency, I hope you don't have it in a personal business account to transfer over to. I hope you have that in a business. If you are taking out your gains, for the person that came on earlier, that talked about, I sold Bitcoin, are you still in it? I hope you have a tax plan in place to that person, because what are you going to do on your capital gains taxes? So if you're a part of my home-based business, you might have enrolled in the business under your Social Security and your personal name, but you need to convert that into a tax ID number and a business entity. So those are the secrets to the mindset for prosperity. You have to give. You have to say. You have to see. And you have to call it by name. Jay says if you make more than 70K, S corporation would be wise. I believe that a LLC taxes the S corp would be better. There's some people on here, you thrive off of free information, but you don't take information for people that go and pay for it and then they give it to you for free. You take just free stuff. The best way to maintain your wealth status is to pay for knowledge. I promise you. All this free stuff, I can learn YouTube Universe for free. People are not going to give you the whole secrets for free. You're going to have to invest. You're going to have to invest. I'm not going to go and invest in workshops and then come tell you and regurgitate everything I learned for free. I'm not going to give you everything that's in me. You haven't earned that status. I'm not going to pick up the phone and talk to you for free. You haven't earned that you have to qualify for my time and my attention. Even when in 2 Chronicles 1:11, Solomon did not get God's attention until he gave him an offering, right? So I just want to share that with you all. And again, everyone that gave in the super chats, make sure you say thank you, Natural Girl. She says everyone's time is worth paying. Yes, it is, but everybody don't believe that. Let me tell you, you cannot become a millionaire with a broke person mentality, or even a thousandaire who always want to get something for no cost, right? So for everyone that gave to the super chat, first of all, thank you for giving. It motivates me to continue to do these, right? Because believe it or not, I strongly dislike people who just believe in free things. Because even the information that I take the time to give you, it takes me time and research, right, to give you. And the bigger channels, the Big Boy Crypto and all that, I know why they have the thousands of views, because they have a whole research team. The more knowledge you have, right, the more you should be able to grow in all areas of your life, right? YouTube Watcher says, yeah, you can get an LLC, but you can have it taxed as a corporation, credits and deductions. And so, for those who gave, I'm speaking over you, but you speak over yourself, that your money is returned to you and never ending cycle of increase, enjoyment, and is multiplied. Every time anyone gave in the Bible, whether it was 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold return, God always multiplied. God never added. He doesn't know what adding is. He always multiplied. Another reason why I love the X, right? It's because the X to me, when it's multiplication symbol, just means one and one beside each other's. Oh, thank you all so much. And let me tell you something. I don't want you all to get confused, right? It's not about the amount you're giving. It's about what you're giving into. Know what, and you can't see it, but just know what 11:11 means. If you don't know, just go back and read Ecclesiastes 11:1, 2 Chronicles 1:11, Deuteronomy 1:11, Ecclesiastes 10:19, which adds to 11, 9, 10, 11, and Jeremiah 29:11. Also, another one, Numbers, I think, Numbers chapter 11, I think it's in verse 17. It's either verse 17 or 18. But God said, I will come. Helen, I put it up. I put it up for you. Numbers 11, I think it's verse 17. He says, I will come and talk with you and meet you there. God speak with you personally. Now, if you're one of these religious people that says, no, I believe God has to speak through a preacher, a pastor, or even me, I'm teaching all of you all to raise up into level and understand the God within. That's my vision for everybody that's subscribed, that watches me, that participates, that you have the power. You can do the little thing like the little boy. And because again, nothing my mentor told me today. And I'm a basketball coach. I coach girls basketball. And he told me that the elite players go on to make more. They're paid more. Like LeBron James, he was paid, or Kobe Bryant, I said Kobe, and Michael Jordan were paid way more than Phil Jackson. The students usually make way more and they sell what the teacher does. But he said a good player, or, always come back and reward the teacher for teaching them and gifting them that knowledge and information. So I want all of you all to outdo me. Financially, spiritually, or whatever, but just know now I've set the bar high. I have set the bar high. You don't have to be a multimillionaire and billionaire status, but that's great. That's cool. I'm fine with that. Do that. Excel me. I set the bar high because I want you to get higher. I want you to think higher. I want you to be higher. I want you to spiritually recognize who you are. And that's not taking away anything from God being the ultimate high God. No, I just want you to understand that he put himself in you. See, he breathed into Adam. And when someone breathes into you, their aroma, their array, their life, oxygen, breath is life, is in your DNA. You cannot have God's DNA and don't know how to operate in greatness. You can, but you shouldn't, right? Because it's in you. The Most High messengers out of many. Thank you all so much. So hey, I'm logging off. I'm about to get ready. Join me. We're gonna talk about nothing but cryptocurrency. I didn't want to make videos where I'm mixing spirituality and cryptocurrency, so I want to stay on topic. But we're gonna talk about Ethereum. You all do know I have more Ethereum than I do Bitcoin, right? Dogecoin, some big announcements, some changes for Doge. Don't look at the price. Doge is going to do well. And Shiba Inu, $1 billion today with SHIB. So you all, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And thank everyone for watching the channel, for commenting, your super chats, your likes, your thumbs up, and as always, your support. Make sure that you outdo the teacher. Queen out.